We have seen cricket return to the Chepauk, we've seen it return to the Chinnaswamy. We'll now see this year's IPL head its way to the Eden Gardens in Kolkata. Again, an iconic ground beyond the IPL, but when they used to rally around the Kolkata Knight Riders, it made for quite the spectacle. Is the feeling as optimistic in the 2023 season? Although we're in early days, it could all change if Nitish Rana's side can get the result done. That after the news that Shreyas Iyer won't play this IPL, Shakib Al Hasan won't feature. It's all the wrong headlines for KKR early on. A win could do them wonders. We look ahead to that game on ESPN Cricket for T20 timeout. It's a very good evening to Deep Dasgupta, boy from Kolkata, partially in Delhi, last night in Guwahati, settled now in the UK. Aren't you the globetrotter, Mr. Dasgupta?
That's the plan.
Do you still have some Kolkata affiliation?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
KKR, does it make you feel happy when they do well, when they have a good season?
It's more Bengal than KKR. Obviously, Kolkata is a city, definitely yes. But KKR, like any other team, the other 9.
What a professional answer. It's what we expect, and it's what we expect from you, Tom.
It's a straight bat.
Very good.
Very early on.
I must ask you though, if the KKR fans are still, or the Kolkata faithful are still as into their team as we can say the Chepauk or the Chennai faithful or the Bangalore faithful.
So obviously yes, but if you've also got to realize now Bengal per se has 3 teams. So you've got Kolkata Knight Riders, obviously with Saurav joining Delhi Capitals, part of that has moved to Delhi Capitals. And then obviously Sanjay, who's a Calcutta boy and a Bengal boy, he's got LSG, Lucknow Super Giants. So we've actually got 3 teams. So basically what was just KKR supporters now kind of have split into 2 other teams as well.
So if all 3 don't make the playoffs, that would be really disappointing.
No, I'm sure at least one would.
The lights will be out in the city.
In all fairness though, Tom Moody, RCB, even after one game, would be considered overwhelming favourites. They won the toss there as well. We'd like to think that all's wrong with KKR, but boy, if they can just get a result tonight, all that doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's still very early on, isn't it? You know, it's going to be an intriguing contest. I sort of see this as a simple case of RCB's a better team collectively with what they offer on paper and the combinations they have. But I look at KKR and to me they don't have the same sort of strength from a team perspective, but they've got individuals that can blow the game apart. So for them to stand up this evening and stand up in this IPL, I think it's going to be a lot of individual performances that has to, you know, blow it apart. And we've seen it before. You know, Russell and Ryan and you know, in the past, there's been plenty of others that have, you know, have done it, and you know, they've had a very successful history.
It is perhaps a bit about who can rally them together.
I guess
is Nitish Rana that man?
I think Chandrakant Pandit definitely is. If you look at his track record, Chandrakant Pandit as a coach, he's won Ranji Trophy with teams like Vidarbha, Vidarbha, Mumbai, MP, I believe as well. So I mean, you've got to give it to him. He has that ability to rally individuals and bring them together, and from very limited resources get the best out of individuals and as a team. So yes, Nitish, it's a little unfortunate that Shreyas, a week before the tournament started, he was ruled out. So Nitish will take a little bit of time to kind of adjust and to this new role. But I think if anyone who can rally this team and get this team together, it's Chandrakant Pandit.
Okay, it's a different challenge though for a veteran domestic coach with significant accolades, as Deep points out. But he has a home game now, and that's his home as KKR head coach. And the Eden Gardens has given us many things over the years. It's given us plenty of runs in the IPL. If you look at the highest scoring venues across the tournament, you'll find the average first inning score to be higher at the Eden Gardens, even more so by just a bit than even the Chinnaswamy Stadium. Brabourne Stadium, again, big scoring ground, lots of runs there. Delhi, we know how hard it is sometimes to defend that venue if the dew comes in. But since 2018, Eden Gardens is right up there. We're also hearing from conditions and pitch reports at the Eden Gardens, Tom, that it's not the centre square. So we also have a 54-metre boundary. Again, we're expecting a 400-run pluser, perhaps?
Yeah, I can't sort of fathom why we're playing the first game at a venue with a boundary that small. You know, surely there's enough pitches available to make sure that all your home games at least have a minimum of 65 metres, which is a standard ICC standard. 54 it's erring on being a joke, to miss it. So then, from a captaincy point of view, you've got that real challenge of getting your bowlers at the right ends. So it's a game of chess with regards to that. And obviously, from a captaincy point of view in the dugout, you're making sure you've always got a left-hand, right-hand combination to access that short side. But 54 metres, the way these guys hit the ball these days and the bats they use, that's an inside edge.
54 metres on the first
54,
game. Right, 54 metres for the first game at the Eden Gardens. Why would that have happened?
I'm not too sure. Obviously, you would ideally want the centre, or one of those centres. You always have 2-3 options there. But 54 also does not help the broadcasters. That would be one end of the square. That does not help the broadcasters.
And you're thinking of the broadcasters now. You can see the man you've become.
Yeah. I'm thinking from the commentary perspective as well, because as it is, the commentary box isn't the best. And geez, so having said that, I'm not too sure. Generally, it's obviously the end of the season as well, and there's been a lot of games which has been played there. Maybe something to do with that.
I was just looking at their schedule just to see in case the groundsman's got 4 or 5 games coming up in the next week. There's a game today on the 6th. The next Eden Gardens game is on the 14th, and then on the 23rd. So you've got
more of a
days.
reason they should have got.
There's no excuse. Unless there's something
wrong,
some disease that's in the centre part of the pitch, and who's concerned how that was going to play. We don't know that part of it, but certainly you would think, given the schedule, that you'd want to be front and centre in the early games.
I see your point that 54 metres just takes a lot of the merit out of the game, but if we are to just say, well, it's the same for both sides, so what's the big deal? How do you sort of respond to that?
I just don't think it's a fair contest between bat and ball. Forget about the same for both teams, which it is, obviously, but I just don't think it's a fair contest, bat v ball, where you're having to bowl certain bowlers at one end, and they just can be potentially horribly exposed. So I just think that it doesn't give you a fair playing field, and we've seen a couple of changes with the IPL this year, with a few different rules, with impact subs and the 11's being named after the toss. All those things add to the quality of the product. 54 metres.
It does not.
And as is, this venue is extremely high scoring, post 2016-17 or whatever, and you don't want to add to that.
Lightning fast outfield. If we have to pick a bare minimum from all your experience and expertise for an IPL game, we know that the rules tend to move up and down depending on the venues you're in, and certain grounds cannot give you more boundary space as well, like Eden Park and some of the others. But what could be a bare minimum?
60 to 64?
60 to 64. 60 metres at least is what Deep's saying. Tom?
Yeah, well, I think 65. That is the standard, I think, in the ICC regulations. So I think 65's, there's obviously going to be some situations where you might find it 64, 63, but I think you should target 65 as the bare minimum.
All right. We enjoyed our World Cup in Australia, didn't we? To watch with the bigger boundaries?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, look, I thought it involved a lot of different aspects of the game that we haven't seen for a while.
Yeah.
Where, the smart play around, running between the wickets, hitting pockets. It's not all about stand and deliver, hit the ball, 30 rows back. A lot of players found themselves short, caught on the boundary 10 metres in trying to do that. But there was an art to the game.
True.
And some people, performed that art very well, and others fell short.
And especially on surfaces where there's not much help for the bowler, it makes it that much more important that the boundaries are bigger, especially spinners and all that.
All right. Well, I'll tell you who enjoys his return to the Eden Gardens. It's Andre Russell, and we must talk about Russell. The first game is always evidence of the kind of shape and health that Andre Russell's in. He did not bowl against Punjab in Mohali, but he had a nice little cameo, and what turned out to be a rain-affected game. Had he hit one more over the line or batted more, it could have been a different result and perhaps a different conversation, in spite of everything that's not going right for Kolkata. At the Eden Gardens, Russell's record is exceptional. Of course, this is an Andre Russell who has played here at the peak of his powers when he was playing regularly. He was playing for the West Indies, but that strike rate is nearly 200 with a pretty decent sample size, 25 innings, 700 runs, averaging nearly 39, and he hits a boundary just after 3 balls. At other venues, it's not a lot different, but that difference is in the strike rate of 200. He also loves batting against RCB. That is something we remember from his takedown against Chahal and co in an epic game at the Chinnaswamy. But all in all, those are numbers that RCB, regardless of KKR and Andre Russell's current predicament, would be wary of. You think Andre Russell just stood in the centre of the pitch and told the groundsman, not this one, that one?
I think, to be honest with you, I'd be saying to Russell, let's bat in the middle one, because it doesn't matter.
Exactly.
You don't have to hit into the town centre.
Yeah.
So that boundary size is not relevant for him at all. But that's a phenomenal record. And, I've sort of been on the receiving end from a coaching perspective of a couple of those things in Kolkata. And that's why I've never felt in a coaching position that the game is absolutely over until, because I've experienced a couple of Russell beatings, and to strike at 200 with that average is no wonder he's one of the IPL icons.
He'll be 35 later this month, Tom and Deep, and they took a call to retain him ahead of the big auction, which would be a 3-year plan. And I remember KKR CEO talking to us at the time saying, we have been assured that he will be at his best and we'll get those 3 years out of him. From what you saw in the first game, firstly, do you sense Russell, the batter, will hit more than he'll miss this season? Is he showing signs of still being and he's somewhere near the peak of his powers?
I think the batting threat's still there. There's no question of that. But I think the bowling threat is going to be very much in the background. I believe he's carrying a little bit of a niggle with his knee, which he's had for some time now. So it's not like it's, he's had a major surgery done to it and he's come back. But this is a thing that's lingered for some time, and it's had him bowling 1 or 2 overs from time to time, but not like we've seen the complete all-rounder in the past, where he gives you 4 impact overs, and he does give you impact overs because he does tend to go for a few, but he does take wickets, which is so valuable.
And he also bowls decently in the death as well, last few overs. It was a couple of seasons ago, he was only bowling 2 overs in the death. So, he gives you that option as well.
You still think he is a formidable batter, though? Or is he going to win you maybe 1 or 2 games this season and might go missing for the rest?
If he manages to win 2 games, 3 if possible, even if it's 2, you're looking to win, 8, 9 games, right? And if him on his own can win you 2, he's done his job to a certain extent.
Yeah, I heard this from Dan many times, and coaches tend to think if my 4 gun overseas can each win me 2 games, that's what I'm looking for in them. I wonder if that's something you sort of subscribe to or think of. So 2 games is not a bad result for 1 overseas player to fire. But in this team, that's usually when Andre Russell's got a lot of other gun overseas players or a lot of in-form Indian players. This is a different team. Does that expectation change of Russell?
Yeah, look, I'd sort of raise the bar to 3. 14-game season, I'd be expecting my, highly paid overseas experts to be targeting 3 match-winning performances, and I think Russell's got 3 in him. And on a good season, he'd have, anything between 5 and 6. You look at someone like David Warner, for instance. Over his career, he's not winning 2 games in a season. He's winning 5 or 6.
Yeah.
So I'd be lifting the bar for Russell and expecting at least 3. And I wouldn't be saying that to him, but I'd be thinking in the back of my mind, I know he's going to fire for me 3. I just got to create the environment where he's feeling good about his game and he's enjoying his experience, and let the rest take care of itself.
So with him, the batter, we also got to think about the surfaces that we've played last few years. Last few years were in Abu Dhabi, Riverside, Sharjah.
He had a poor season in the UAE.
Yeah, because of the bounce, right? So everyone was bowling back of length, nothing in his area, keeping the ball near his chest. And obviously those pitches had pace as well, Dubai and Abu Dhabi's particularly. So now back in India, you won't get that kind of pace most of the venues, neither the bounce. So it might suit him a little more, the batter.
Sure. RCB also don't have that kind of bowler that Deep talks about. They have pace in Siraj. It's a different kind of threat. We'll just confirm the teams for you. KKR first up. They're batting first. Faf du Plessis won the toss, and he's put them in. Venkatesh Iyer now features in what was expected in their batting first playing 11. No changes at the top of the order. You have Mandeep Singh and Gurbaz there. Wonder where Sunil Narayan will bat. Anukul Roy has been put on the bench to start with. I think Nitish Rana, just a little inexperienced as captains mentioned at the toss that Surya Sharma is part of our 11, but he would have been part of the 11 had they been bowling first.
Right.
He could very well be the option they bring on in the absence of an out-and-out leg spinner. But otherwise, there are no other changes. Jason Roy, who's been named as a replacement for, well, take your pick, Shakib or Shreyas, has not yet joined the team. No changes otherwise. And there's not really a lot of changes you can make to that team, Deep.
True, that was one of my concerns before the tournament as well. They have a kind of settled, including Shreyas, a settled playing 11, but not too much of an option when you look at the bench. And also last game, someone like Nitish batted at 5, and I didn't understand that.
Yeah.
You know, he's done so well batting at 3 the last few years, and him being the captain, more of a reason you should be going up the order at 3 and not pushing himself down to 5.
Yeah. It's a change after one game. So does that concern you perhaps? Because that ideally otherwise should have stuck with what their best batting 11 was. They saw
Can we have another look at that?
Let's bring it
list?
up.
Yeah,
Yeah,
let's
there
bring
we
it up. The thing that concerns me about this lineup, I'd like to see Iyer opening the batting.
Yeah.
And Mandeep Singh down the order. You know, because Venkatesh Iyer has had his best time in IPL cricket at the top of the order. So I'd like to see him at the top of the order with Gurbaz. Narayan, I'm not sure what he's doing at 3.
Yeah. Well, that's just our list.
Maybe he wrote out the scorecard.
Well, from what you said, the left-right hand combination looking at the boundary, it makes sense as well to split Mandeep and Gurbaz. You have 3 lefties after that on our list.
Yeah, it does. But you can use Narayan with that philosophy in the back 10 overs.
Sure.
Narayan's record against Siraj is horrible.
Yeah.
So
Narayan has to come when the spinners are bowling.
Yeah. And you can certainly expose that short side that way. I wouldn't be doing it when the ball's hard, new, and there's some movement and potential bounce because the ball is hard. And that's one difference of the stadium is since they did change the surface there, the square there, it's a lot quicker and bouncier, that pitch. So if you've got some wheels, you enjoy bowling there.
Venki Iyer and Gurbaz are your preferred opening pair for today.
Yeah.
But the challenge is, I do understand what you're saying. You're maximizing Venkatesh Iyer, the player.
Yep.
But when looking at the squad and the playing 11, and you're looking at maximizing the playing 11, where do you bat Mandeep? I mean, Mandeep is also at his best when he's, opening the batting. So that's the,
Were you surprised that Mandeep even made this 11, Deep?
I'm not surprised, obviously. I mean, they're backing experience and all that.
Is it good experience though in the IPL? Mandeep's been around a while. He's
Yeah,
not really stolen the show anywhere.
True. I do agree. I mean, you might as well get someone younger. And listen, that's one of the reasons I believe why KKR got Chandrakant Pandit was to maximize the domestic Indian players that you've got. Right? And so I was thinking, you know what, that's a great move. You know what your overseas can do. They're like settled there. Now KKR is looking at their younger Indian domestic lot, and that hence Chandrakant Pandit. And I would actually won't mind seeing a younger guy coming in.
So, Jagdishan was picked up after a very good Vijay Hazare season.
And Jagdishan also can bat in the middle order.
Yeah.
So you can then put Venkatesh Iyer top of the order and Jagdishan in the middle.
That would have been a better fit.
Jagdishan had a very good domestic season too, didn't he?
He did. In the 50 over more than 20, but...
fair enough. And also in the middle order, they have quite a few. I mean, Rinku is a left-hander, Nitish is a left-hander. If required, Sunil Narayan is a left-hander. You can get Jagdishan, the right-hander, in there as well in the middle order.
But I guess you also put yourself in a predicament as coach when you've gone with 11 one game, you don't really change that.
Look, again, it depends, what your thinking is around the venue and the opposition. Ideally, you don't want to be making too many changes because what you want, win, lose or draw, is to create calmness in the dressing room where people feel like they belong, they're given a chance, they're not on the edge of their seat thinking, the axe is going to fall on me any moment. That they're given a fair run to settle into the season. And that fair run's probably 3, if not 4 games.
Yeah. Could I also just, one more time, before we go to RCBC, that KKR team, as we look at how you use your impact. Remember, they're batting first. Would you name Varun Chakravarti in your 11? Would you not be better off just picking the best batter amongst those 5, which is either Anukul or Jagdishan, giving you a little more batting, and then making that swap for Varun later? Tom?
100%. That's the whole idea of it, isn't it? Is Jagdishan could easily be slotting in at number 8, and you've got incredibly long batting lineup, and then you play the sub rule. Clearly
Very
Chandu sir is not on top of that.
We haven't
right
quite worked out the best way to take advantage
Yeah.
of the impact sub.
And we saw that in the last game too. Venki Iyer was not
Absolutely.
named in an 11, which was a bit baffling for
I
us.
think they need to get hold of this whole concept of impact player. I mean, somebody needs to tell him you can change players, you can have different 11s as well.
And like I said, Nitish Rana, poor chap, telling Sanjay Manjrekar at the toss that we made a change, Suyash Sharma is in.
Yeah.
So that is obviously the bowling first team, or maybe that's the way they're going. They will bring in a leg spinner, but okay, it's not looking quite in order for KKR. But if they get their big guns firing, it could be a different contest. Let's have a look at RCB, shall we? They had to deal with the unfortunate injury to Reece Topley. We were expecting David Willey to come in. Remember, Josh Hazelwood has still not joined the squad. Neither has Wanindu Hasaranga. So that's the only change we will see from a team that flexed some serious muscle when they brushed aside the Mumbai Indians in their opening game. We look at their impact options. You've got Maipal Lomror, Anuj Rawat all there. They'll be bowling first, remember, so look out for a batter. They're the only team to not use an impact sub. They didn't need it in that game against Mumbai. But one of Rawat, Lomror or Prabhu Desai, you think, as batters, will come in. 4 overseas names, so don't worry about Fabian Allen. It was an expected swap, David Willey in, and I guess they have figured this out. Tom, even regardless of that impact bench, I think this looks a team that ticks most boxes, batting first or second.
Yeah, it is a good side. It still concerns me, that middle order. Maxwell at 3, very short of cricket. He's played hardly any cricket whatsoever the last 6 months. Bracewell's never played in the IPL before, so it's a new environment for him. Karthik, he's spending one leg in the commentary box and the other leg at a training session preparing for IPL. Can he repeat what he did last season, which was extraordinary, what he did? And
then you've got Shahbaz.
Shahbaz Ahmed, I think he's a really good cricketer. He's a very handy left arm spinner and also quite a dynamic batter. We actually were very keen on him in the auction last year, but his price got away from us.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a pretty good side.
So I think Shahbaz, you might see him bat at 3 as well. You can actually.
I mean, they sent DK in at 3 last time, perhaps with the intention of giving him some batting time or some balls to play. It didn't work out. But they could very well play around with that 3 position.
Absolutely, yes. And Shahbaz, I mean, he did bat a couple of games last season at 3 and he did all right. And they don't have too many left-hand options there. So might as well, if you want, and especially that 54-meter boundary, Shahbaz at 3.
Keep an eye out for that. I think what would be great to see is they actually get a wicket or 2 early and then test RCB's middle order, because the kind of form that Faf and Virat Kohli have shown seems unlikely that anything short of a big score will really test them. We've also got Matt Roller, who tests us every now and then with a point or 2. Let's see what he's got for us today.
Death bowling has been a long-standing issue for Royal Challengers Bangalore, and it's an issue they'll be desperate to address starting tonight in Kolkata. RCB were one of 5 teams to go at more than 11 runs and over at the death in IPL 2022, and that area of the game was the one blemish on their performance against Mumbai Indians at the Chinnaswamy in their opening game of 2023. They leaked 60 runs in 4 overs at the death in an otherwise dominant performance. They'll be particularly anxious to address that issue tonight because of the fact that Kolkata have Andre Russell in their ranks. Dre Russ has often been a nemesis for RCB in the IPL, and he scored more runs against them than against any other opponent in the league, most memorably winning them a game from an unwinnable position at the Chinnaswamy in 2019. RCB have a couple of good death bowling options in their squad on paper in Mohammad Siraj and Harshal Patel, but how will they get on in the heat of the battle at Eden Gardens tonight?
All right. Do you share Matt's view that RCB's death bowling remains a concern in what looks like a better bowling lineup than they've had in many years?
Obviously, they're going to miss Reece Topley. Definitely. 6'8", gets extra bounce, especially on this surface. But I think death overs, obviously, Harshal, he's a very important cog in that wheel. My only concern at times with Harshal is on surfaces where the ball's not gripping, because his main strength is the pace-off ball. Those surfaces he can be expensive, but with the addition of Willey, who I believe is a better death over bowler than maybe Reece Topley. So maybe the death over is kind of in a better situation than what it was before, I guess.
Tom?
Yeah, look, from my understanding, I don't want to contradict what you've said, but
No, please do.
But I think Topley is a better
yeah,
bowler.
fair enough. Yeah.
Okay. You know, he bowls these very good cutters away from the right-handers, and he's been used in that position with England. You know, when he's been fit and playing. Willie's dangerous up front. He'll swing it up front, but where he can sort of go missing is sort of in the back half. So I still think they've got a concern, particularly if Russell gets in. And it's a decent surface, there's no question they're going to be chasing. Well, they're setting, aren't they?
RCB are chasing,
yes,
so KKR batting first. So if he gets in...
So if he gets in, he's going to have to really go big, because I see the total's got to be well beyond 200.
All right, well, we'll find out. Good luck with the 54 metres boundary as well for Harshal, Akashdeep, who had a good game last time, and whoever else happens to bowl at the death. Russell seems such a big part of Kolkata's success, and we say that every year, but perhaps even more so, looking at the rest of their team and the injury to Shreyas, etc. So I guess you have to have one thing on your mind as to when do I maximize Russell's impact batting first. They had to do it chasing last time, and we felt like they again delayed him. Batting first, what is the best utilisation of Russell looking at the rest of your batting?
I think around that 12th over mark is the time to press the button for Russell. And the team must understand that, that's the time he's coming in, and if you're at the crease at that time and if we're not going at 10 and over, move on. Don't get yourself out, but sort of take high risks, making sure you're taking at least, trying to take 3 boundaries and over. So 12th over is the important one. And the other interesting matchup, which we can talk about more in the half-time break, is I'm looking forward to seeing Narayan bowl, and when he's going to bowl, because I think he should open.
All right, interesting. Against Faf and Kohli. Yeah, that'd be fascinating. Yeah, we've seen a couple of teams perhaps just hang around or hold their big gun. Poor run for LSG, Hetmeyer last night.
True.
Yeah, Russell at the 12th over?
Oh yeah, I think absolutely yes, irrespective of its number 3, number 4, whatever it is.
Yeah.
12th over, go in, give him some time, because again, last few years, it's not been like going out there and very first ball he hits it out of the park. So, I mean, he's also 18. Give him some time at least to kind of settle down, let him have a sight, a couple of balls at least, and then, let him lose. All
right, now, we made the point on David Willey. We got some numbers to back that up as well. He's going to be bowling in place of Reece Topley. Look at his phase-wise bowling to give you an idea. Firstly, his record since 2022, it's not a bad one. He averages just over 22. It's a decent strike rate. Economy of 8's not the worst, especially if you consider where he's played. And phase-wise, though, he's going at just about 10 at the death overs. So it's not a bad strike rate, actually. 15 wickets there. But he does go at 10s, which
let's improve the batting lineup at least. With him there, I mean, the batting's better.
If you go at 9.9 at the death in this game, you might be happy.
He might bat 3.
Yeah,
because he's done that. He's done that for England.
Yeah, he's opened as well.
Yes.
We haven't spoken a lot about Remonola Gurbaz. He looked all right for his 20 last time. He's a good player.
He's your favourite, isn't he?
Someone I love him.
Yeah, he's a good.
You've got that, haven't you?
I can tell. It's certainly reflecting.
I like Gurbaz.
Yeah, he's dangerous. He's dangerous, but he's just got to get past. Once he gets in, he's got to get past that 30 and 40 and make it a significant score.
Given my affection for him, if we talk any longer, he might just get out now. So let's just end this with a prediction.
So so Venkatesh Iyer has come out to open.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. So both of you, they watch our show till the very end. All the teams.
They must do.
They've got at least 4 guys padded up.
They don't have their phones. Where
the manager has. He's streaming it.
He's allowed. Yeah.
The manager's allowed to have the phone. He's streaming it. Excellent.
The manager has downloaded the ESPN Cricket for Mobile app as well, and he knows how to do that. So you should as well. They haven't figured out the Impact Hub, but they know that they can if they watch our shows on ESPN Cricket For's mobile app. Head to the App Store and Play Store, and you'll get everything you need on the IPL and more in the world of cricket. So now that I've plugged that in smoothly, let's get a prediction from Tom and Deep. 200 minimum, says Danny Morrison at the toss. What are they going to get though, this team?
I don't know. I'm looking at 190 here.
I just think it'll be below par, I'm guessing.
Yeah, because if it is one of the corner strips, it might not be the best pitch or the most well-prepared pitch.
Okay, so it may not be as easy.
It might not be that 200 that we're looking at. This is my guess. So this could well be 190, 180 pitch.
All right. Well, Siraj is bowled onto the centre pitch actually as we speak. So it's been a nice start for you. Few gift runs for KKR. Tom Moody, your reading of these corner pitches, you gave me a real nugget last time.
Yeah. Look, I think I've watched the first 3 balls that wide, and it looked uneven. Just the two balls I saw. So I'm going to just bring my 200 down to about 182.
Okay, we'll leave it there then. Thank you very much to Tom Moody and Deep Das Gupta. I'm not giving a prediction anymore.
Okay, that's good.
I was really bullied by Sanjay Manjrekar yesterday. And Tom didn't stand up for me, in spite of how kind I've been to him. So I'm just going to stop giving it. But you've said 195 and
I said 190.
190, you've said 182.
Did you see the ish on the end of it? 190-ish?
190-ish, did you say? Okay.
All right, so let's just make it 190. I'll get the ish out.
Okay.
And 182. All right. I'll go 210. We'll see you at the end of the innings.
You had to do that.
I had to do that. Come on, KKR, get some interest into this year's tournament. It's only early days, though. Join us for our innings break show on ESPN Cricket for T20 Timeout.